13 years ago, I found myself in a jail cell in a very defining moment in my life. And it was either fight for the life that I always wanted to live or succumb to the consequences of my bad choices. You gotta have a shift in your identity, a shift in the way you perceive yourself, a shift in your own internal dialogue and your mindset. Like, you don't wanna get to the future and then all of a sudden you look around and you're living the same life you were 10 years ago. Pressure is gonna do one of two things to you. It's gonna fucking crush you, or like a diamond, it's gonna forge you into the best version of yourself. I can get through those times. Not only can I get through them, but I use them as a catalyst to get bigger and better results. Stay present in the tough times and grow to become someone who's truly unstoppable in your life. Welcome back to another episode of the Unstoppable Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Crane. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a couple weeks since I did a podcast episode. I'm actually here at home right now in the process of building out my home podcast studio. Got the family in here. Let me see it, buddy. My son just came in. This is the beauty of working from home. Dude, that is so cool. What's his name? Lemonhead. Oh, Leatherhead? Leatherhead. So my son Preston just barged in right when we started the podcast to show me Leatherhead, which is a character from, I believe, the Ninja Turtles. It's a bad guy. It's a villain. He's super into Ninja Turtles. He's 4 years old. He's in like junior kindergarten, so he doesn't go to school 5 days a week. And he's home today. It's Tuesday, and he just barged right in right when we started the podcast. That's what I love, man. I love being home with my family, working on my passion, which is also my business, and making an impact in lives. That's my purpose. My purpose is to help people to create lives they love and cherish. Whether you're struggling with sobriety, whether you just have bad habits, whether you're struggling with being overweight. A lot of people I talk to, you know, their results or their lack of results is an indication of something deeper that's not working properly in their lives. Whether it's some suppressed trauma, some emotion, some lack of belief in themselves, whatever it is, that's what we have to figure out and fix in order for you to become that person you want to be. That's what I went through. You know, you guys, I'm 13 years in the making. 13 years ago, I found myself in a jail cell in a very defining moment in my life. And it was either fight for the life that I always wanted to live or, you know, succumb to the consequences of my bad choices. And prior to going to prison, I had no direction. I was battling alcoholism, addiction to drugs and alcohol. I come from a broken home. I saw a lot of bad things growing up, and I was traumatized. And if you had met me back then, you wouldn't say, oh, Sean's a bad person. Sean's a criminal. Like, Sean's off the rocker. You would just say, Sean's wild. He's wild. He likes to party, and he doesn't give a fuck, you know? But I always knew I wanted a family. I always knew I wanted a better life. You know, I look at people in the movies or on TV shows as a kid, and I wanted, you know, the white picket fence, man. I wanted the all-American family. I wanted to be a charismatic, outgoing person. I wanted to be a leader. I wanted to be an example. I wanted to be all these things, but I wasn't becoming that person. And I think we all experience this disconnect in life where we know what we want, but we're not actually going after it. And we assume we have more time. We assume that one day it's just going to happen or it'll be easier or whatever the case may be. Now, for me, it did work out, but for a lot of you listening, it's not going to work out for you unless you decide I'm going to become that fucking person now. And you got to have a shift in your identity, a shift in the way you perceive yourself, a shift in your own internal dialogue and your mindset. There's something internal that has to change in order for you then to start taking action to become that person. Then it takes many, many years and, you know, the right actions over and over and over and over and over for a long period of time before you actually start to become recognized as that person, before you start to see the change when you look in the mirror or feel the change in yourself. You know, like, I'm 13 years in the making and I'm still getting up every day and working my ass off. But it's all worth it, man. I'm here to tell you, like, you don't want to get to the future and then all of a sudden you look around and you're living the same life you were 10 years ago. And a lot of people, that's going to be you unless you wake up, unless you start doing something different today. Because it takes time for you to shift your thinking. It takes time for you to change your habits. You got to fight. You're going to fuck up. You're going to make mistakes, and then you're going to get back on track, and then you're going to get recommitted, and then there's going to be adversity, and then there's going to be obstacles, and then there's going to be all this stuff that's trying to pull you away from that new path that you've been on. You have to fight through that resistance, man, and it happens over and over and over. Me as a business owner, a father of now 4 children, a husband, like the person I've become, I'm not impervious to challenges. If anything, I take on more challenges in my life now because I have more at stake. I have more people that depend on me. You know, the standards that I've set are at an all-time high. So every day, my conduct, my daily routines have to be sound. I have no room for error. But I love it, dude, because what I learned about myself a long time ago is when I am under pressure, that is when I perform the best. And pressure is going to do one of 2 things to you. It's going to fucking crush you, or like a diamond, it's going to forge you into the best version of yourself. The determining factor is how you react. Okay, I was just having a conversation with one of my clients who's a business owner the other day. Very successful business owner, 7-8-figure company. But he's going through a slow season in his business and he is being tested. He has people, employees that he needs to take care of, meaning he needs to get jobs so he could pay them so they could feed their families. Like there's a lot at stake. He needs to make enough money so he can cover his overhead. You know, we're talking about lease for his buildings, his vehicles, his equipment, payroll. There's a lot that goes into running a business. Financial stress is the worst stress that people go through, okay? You know, the only thing worse than that is seeing one of your children sick and in the hospital or losing a loved one or when your health is compromised, right? But we were talking the other day and I told him, based on my life experience, man, there's 1 of 2 ways you can handle this. Number 1, you can become a victim of circumstance and get angry and complain, and you can seek to check out and numb that stress and that pain that you're going through with alcohol, with drugs, with food, with all the substances people use to numb out that feeling because it becomes so overbearing. But if you take that course, are you going to grow? Are you going to develop resiliency? Do you think it's going to make you a better, stronger version of yourself? Probably not. It's going to make you weaker. Then in the future, when those circumstances come back around, let's say you get through it, but those circumstances occur again, which they will, because we're not going to ever live a life without adversity, especially if you want to be a top achiever and the best version of yourself. So when those circumstances come back around later on, are you going to have a new lesson, more grit, more resiliency that you developed through that last set of circumstances? Or are you going to react the same way, sabotaging yourself with actions that seek to numb out the pain versus grow through it? There's going to only be so many of those occurrences before eventually you fucking lose, okay? You lose the business, you don't rebound or whatever, right? Guys do this in their marriage too. Eventually one day your wife's going to finally say, I'm sick and tired of your ass. I'm leaving you, right? Your significant other. Eventually your kids are going to get older and they're going to finally figure out who you really are and how you've been operating your whole life, right? Versus the other version of yourself, the other person. And this is what I told my client. I said, man, imagine if you still get up every day and you get your ass in the gym at 5 a.m. because you know that's where you build mental toughness. You know, that's where you turn problems into solutions. That's where you elevate your frequency so that the stress isn't just bogging you down, but you can see above it. You rise above it, and now you start to think like a real leader and a solution-oriented person. That's what the gym is for, okay? Then you're still eating the right foods. You're not going back to alcohol. You're still being productive every day. And guess what? After work or on the weekends, you're still devoting time to your family. You're still present with them. You're not on your phone stressing out, right? You're not working on the weekends and not around them. Or when you're with them, you're not just checked out. You're present. You're connected. You're there. Dude, I'm here to tell you, man, that version of you, that person who stays present in the midst of stress and adversity, that grows through it, that person becomes somebody that is so powerful in your life. Number one, you build up so much discipline and resiliency for future situations. Number two, like, you know that you can handle tough times and they don't break you, but they make you better. You work out more, you read more books, you work harder, you become even more devoted to your family. Like, you got to use that as a catalyst to be better, not worse. This is the craziest thing. When people are going through tough times, they let it affect them to the point where their actions are worse. Their actions are less productive, right? Like, how does that make sense? You got to be more productive, more focused, more diligent, more tenacious. You got to go after your goals with more effort. Like, that's the key there. I've been through this so many times. I'm not just talking about prison. I'm talking about since becoming a business owner and a father and a husband. I've gone through the ups and downs of entrepreneurship more times than I can count. And there's a precedent set in my brain that now is a core concrete belief of who I am and the way I operate. I can get through those times. Not only can I get through them, but I use them as a catalyst to get bigger and better results. If I'm going through financial stress at any time, I need to find a way to make more money. I need to seek out new solutions, new revenue streams, new clientele. I need to expand my business. I need to reach more markets. I need to network more. I need to build out these social groups that I'm in. There's always a recourse. And I've done this over and over and over, from making 10 grand a month as an in-person coach and transitioning to an online coach during COVID, then to scaling that business to a 7-figure business off my phone while I'm raising young kids with my wife, then to expanding to having 15 team members and in the midst of building an 8-figure business. Every step of the way, there was learning lessons. There was tough, fucking painful times. And those lessons were painful to endure, to experience. But because I stayed present, I was sober, because I didn't break on my daily routines, and because I just had the core belief that I was going to figure it out and I was going to use this as a tool to leverage me in my pursuit of my goals. Because of that mentality, I was able to always use my down times, my tough times, as literally like springboards to hit that next level. And it's happened over and over and over. Now I can share that wisdom, that experience, that mentality with the men and some women that I mentor who are business owners and entrepreneurs, because that's the most challenging thing you're going to go through in your life is the stress of adversity, especially when it's financial. But I'm here to tell you, dude, if you stay present, if you don't just sabotage yourself, if you don't get off course with your daily routines, you will look back on those experiences and realize they made you a better version of yourself every step of the way. And you're going to be grateful for them one day. So this message is for anybody that's going through stress. You can apply this to a relationship. You can apply this to your personal finances, business related finances, circumstances, whatever it may be. Stay present in the tough times and grow to become someone who's truly unstoppable in your life.